Well, hello to everyone, and welcome to the YouTube Mile Builders Thursday night general hangout. Thursday's hangouts are for the general discussion on mile railroading that we all can set a topic to discuss for the night. My name is Johnny Reb from Southeast Rails. Thursday's hangouts are the proud sponsor of the YouTube Mile Builders, the EMAG, YouTube Mile Builders live show, and also the Tuesday and Thursday night hangouts. I want to thank everyone for joining in tonight's show. Yeah, let me stop the... Alright, now we're back in. I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. Got a new year going. This is, second week on the new year. They always say New Year's resolutions, and we always wind up breaking them. So, what are people thinking about their goals for this year on their layouts?
My winter goal is to have backdrops up and main line and feeder wires down, hooked up, and running by May.
I think an absolute completion. Finish it all.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, that should probably be my resolution for 2030 instead.
Yes.
But I will see a complete loop of operation with basic staging this year. I will, or I'll die trying. So.
Mine is to have a model railroad layout that is featured in a prominent model railroader magazine.
Hey, Jim, I didn't see you slip in.
You're getting ready to be. You're in the E-bag. Your track plan is anyway, right? So that's
I figured that was a resolution that I was going to fail at.
No. See, your track plan is in the E-mag. It just depends on your definition of prominent.
Well, I'd say the EMAG's pretty prominent because they've got over 780 subscriptions. And
Yep.
Good evening to you, Dwight.
It is to us, prominent to us.
Correct.
So there you are, Jimmy. You're going to beat that one in January. So how are you going to one up that?
Because that's just my layout plan, not my layout.
Well, you can get it in the E-bag. Send JD a picture, and like I said, that'll be doable. If you want to make it hobbyist, that would be a little trickier, and make it in model railroader is really hard. I mean, you could put it in there, but it'd take them about 8 years to actually publish it, and you have the best luck of getting it published if you'll die first. It's like Picasso or something.
Hey, Sherry, how you doing?
Is that good?
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I don't see a January EMAG.
There's going to be.
Yeah, it's fixing to come out
soon.
Okay, spoiler alert.
Yeah, JD said, track plans and all that for this one. I can't get my track plan digitized fast enough.
Jason, what you got going for this year as a goal? Boy, I asked a question, everybody took off on me.
No, I had it muted and I had to hurry up and turn my mic back on. Well, I'm hoping at least get my first level my yard and all that done this year, for sure.
Yeah. Well, you got your camera over to the workbench. That was an accomplishment.
Yeah, it was. What was it, like a couple months when I bought the camera?
That's all right.
Yeah.
You're still ahead of me.
I guess that's one of my accomplishments this year too, is to get a working camera over at the workbench.
Yeah, we'll get you going here some way, somehow.
Yep.
How you doing, Sherry?
Oh, having fun. Sitting here painting.
Yeah. I don't think you heard the question. Step resolution. Got any goals for this year on the layout?
Probably just make progress. Keep plugging away at it because we, it's like got it set up, didn't do anything with it, had to take it down, had to set it back up, didn't do much with it. This year I'm like, we are going to work on it if it kills me. And the funny thing is, you guys talking about video cameras, I have a really nice video camera that I can't find the power cord for, my handy cam. So I got to order a new, I guess that'd be my resolution, get a new power cord for it so I can actually use it.
Yeah.
Because I've got the tripod, and like I said, it's a really nice high-def camera, but it don't do me any good when it's dead.
No. No, that's the reason why I bought me 2 extra batteries for that handy cam I got.
Yeah, well, I lost the cord to charge it. I've got the station, I've got all the cords to hook it into the computer or anything else, but I can't find half of my charging cord.
Huh.
So I got to order a new one.
Well, after you get the new one in, that's when you'll find it.
Yep, guaranteed. Guaranteed. I got so many cables around here, though, I'm like, you know what? I'll be looking till the cows come home.
Yeah. How about you, Chris?
Well, just getting ready to finally get some work done on the layout again. I'm emptying out my upper deck so that I can start building the 3rd level above it. That's my goal right now. Hang on 1 second, I got a train running, I gotta stop. Short-term goal is to get the upper deck built in this room so I can start going out into the other room. But that'll probably take a month or 2 at least, since it's finally enough ice to go ice fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'll give you an introduction. This is Sherry. She just started joining us a few weeks ago. She's in Michigan, too, so.
Hey, Sherry.
Boys, we're getting overrun with them.
Yes, it's become a Michigander show.
We're invading.
Yes. That's because it's so cold up here in the wintertime. We got nothing better to do except for model railroad.
Yeah, except for this year. This year it can't decide if it's going to be 40 or 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, because tomorrow it's going to be in the mid-30s here, and by Sunday it'll be 0 again. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're calling for, almost 40 and rain tomorrow, so it should be interesting. Went from freezing 2 days ago to crazy weather this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got freezing rain for the next 3 days up here.
Well, I got rain tomorrow, but the weekend's going to be good, and that's good because I got to do some smoking.
You need to give that
Speaking
smoking up,
of-
man.
Right. Speaking of smoking, we need to check to see if when we all go to Indianapolis, if it's going to be possible for you to treat us with some of Johnny's Southern Rebel smoke goods.
Yeah. Yeah, Dwight said high of -8 Sunday and Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So, do I dare ask what you're smoking?
Well, my son went to the store and he come back with a pack of two racks of ribs and that, and he bought a big old pork loin, a big long piece. So I got to cut it up and vacuum seal some of it, put it in the freezer. But I'll probably cook a little bit of that. And somebody wanted me to do a Boston butt for them.
That sounds good.
Yeah, so Boston butt I deliver on Sunday. Gonna rain tomorrow, so I'll just have to cook Saturday. Got out there today, made sure the wood was still covered up. Yeah.
So I have a question for Chris.
Okay.
Okay. I have 2, possibly 3 old Athearn blue box locomotives that I really, really like. And I would like to put decoders and a sound decoder in them.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Would it be better off for me to buy a brand new engine with a decoder and put a sound decoder in it?
Well, not if you like them. I mean, there's no reason not to. If you put a little work into them, they can run as good as anything else. The only thing is you may have a little bit of the old Athearn growl or sound, but that's kind of unavoidable due to the motors. But there's a few things you can do to them that you could even do yourself that's cheap and easy, which is like the old run some toothpaste in the gearboxes trick to quiet down the gearboxes and oil them up. They run really good, and the only difference is you just have to hardwire the decoders in. You don't, there's no quick plug or anything because they're not DCC ready. You have to isolate the motor from the frame and do a couple things. But yeah, they're easily decoded.
Well, they got a remoter. They got a remoter kit for it that it gives you a lot higher performing and quieter motor. And it's just a quick swap out kit, and I think it has a DCC plug on the remoter kit, and it's just kind of a all-in-one package that you get from Athearn.
Really?
Well, is that the Genesis motor?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you could take any of the old blue boxes and put the Genesis drivetrain in it. Well, I mean everything but the truck, and you can buy the truck, but you got to file the frame or something, make the machine the frame, make the trucks work. But you can buy just a remoter kit. And I think it has a DCC plug on it, so it makes it pretty simple.
I've done enough of the old blue boxes before I started getting into the newer ones, and years back I had a couple. I still got 1 or 2 that are real good runners. In fact, let me grab this one right here.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Dwight said the older engines use more power.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Get out here also. Go ahead.
This was like one of my first. It's got special meaning because it's like one of my very first locomotives, and it's an Athearn blue box, and I did quite a few things to it, and it runs really good, and it's got a decoder in it. The only thing is lighting wise, it takes a bit of work to be able to, if you want the headlights, because they got that big old light bulb sitting up on a piece of wire underneath that just lights up the whole cab, and there's no rear lights on them. So in order to put lighting in, it's a bit more effort, but if you just want a locomotive to run, you like it because it has some meaning to you. You've had them for a while, and this one I'll never get rid of just because of that. It's got sentimental value.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely, you can do just about anything to those. It just takes a little different procedure, that's all.
Chris, you were doing a demo last year I can't remember exactly when. You were working on the engine. They had pop rivets on the side plates of the trucks. You were soldering wire
Yeah,
as part of the pickups. What engine was that?
those are Athearn RTRs
Oh, okay.
mostly. But you can do that on a blue box too if you want to improve the pickups on them. It's just a good way to get a good solid connection. Some of the Athearn RTRs and even some of the blue boxes had some problems with a rivet connection between that side plate and where they put a tap for the wire for them that runs up to the motor, and at some reason it's just not reliable connection, and found that by soldering the wire right to the side plate, right at the joint with the rivet, that really makes it a much better connection.
I remembered you doing it, and it was to an older engine. I couldn't remember exactly, if it was an Athearn or what.
Yeah, it would have been an Athearn for sure. Whether it was an RTR or a blue box, I don't remember because I've done it to both of them, but mostly the RTRs. They just had a problem for a while there, and
Yeah, pop rivets are not known to stay tight anyway, especially if they're around vibration and all like that.
well, and I think too they do like a blackening on the metal plate, and I think they must do that before they put the rivet in, so that kind of kills the connection right there. If you're depending on that rivet to the plate as an electrical contact.
Yeah.
So I just where the rivet meets the plate, I just hit it with my grinder with a Dremel tool and just to rough it up, and then that's where I solder it because it brings out the silver metal underneath the blackening. Because it's real hard. I mean, even to hit it with a file, it's not easy to file. It's like hardened and blackened. So I just hit it with a little Dremel grinder or cutoff disc just to rough it up, and then you can solder to it fairly easy.
Kind of sounds like powder coating.
It could be.
That once it's been baked, it gets pretty hard.
So I had a interesting little tidbit. Last night our train club had a little Christmas get together. We always do it after Christmas sometime. Just go out to dinner and get a guest speaker, and we had Cody Gravino from Model Railroader magazine was our guest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did a little slideshow for us, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was wanting to meet him when they were here for the train show in 13 here in Atlanta. And yeah, I figured they were here for Saturday and Sunday, and I was trying to get down there Saturday, didn't make it, so I went Sunday, and all of them had left, and just left two people there that I'd never seen in any of the shows or heard of, man in their booth on Sunday.
Yeah, that's one advantage of living that close to Milwaukee. He was only, I think it took him less time to get to the restaurant than it took me, because it was, probably closer to Milwaukee than it was to me. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, Jim Hediger, I'm sure you've been reading him for years if you've read Model Railroad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know him quite well. He came last year and probably the year before too. He's a super guy. I'll tell you, that guy is so down to earth and common. You wouldn't pick him out if you saw him. You'd never say, "Hey, there's a guy who's been, a famous magazine writer for 40 plus years." He's just so down to earth and nice guy, that humble as can be.
Yeah. Hey, Marie.
Hey.
I was wondering when you was going to get jealous.
Well, I caught a deal on the HO yard sale Facebook group today. I got 4 unbuilt ye old Huff and Puff car kits, 3 box cars and a reefer, for $26 shipped.
Huh?
For 4 kits. So I'm super ecstatic. I can't wait for them to come in. Pretty much
Yeah,
the
I like those.
price of one, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of intense kits to build. Well, somewhat, but I like them. The end result is
So how's it going, Jim? I didn't even see you sneak in.
Oh, I've been here for a little while.
Okay. Just
Doing
staying
good,
quiet.
thanks. I guess I gotta buy trucks and wheels for these and couplers and everything, but they look like they might be pretty nice kits. They're supposed to have some metal details, wires, etc.
You have to show them to us when you're done.
These are really old kits from the 60s, I guess. 50s or 60s, still on the original box. Hopefully I won't have a problem with the wood being any problems with the wood, but we'll see.
You can call yourself a vintage model railroader now.
Well, I just knew it was a good buy, and I always wanted to try to build one, so.
It's not something you see very often either.
Well, let's see. If I'd known that, Jim, I could have sent you one of mine. I've got a, what is this?
I don't know, what is it?
I'm trying to read it. R&H railroad kits. It's a TM logo. Train miniature features. It's a Hershey candy bar train, boxcar. It's a wood kit. Yeah, it's a train miniature kit.
Now, is there decals that go on that?
I don't know. Let me open it up and let's see.
Well, my original thoughts was Troy, and I knew these were all in his era.
Yeah.
So I told the guy I'd buy all four, thinking Troy might want one or two. But he reminded me that the HON3 is a little skinnier cars, so it's not a big deal. I'll throw, if I build one and decide I don't like it, I'll pull the other three on eBay. I'll recoup my money plus.
Yeah.
Reason I ask about the decals, I've heard, I haven't experienced this, but I've heard that older decals have a tendency not to adhere, but with the new solutions that are out there, I don't know why they wouldn't, you know.
Yeah. No, I take that back. This is not a wood car. I just took it out. I thought it was. It's plastic, but it's a reefer car, and the hatches on top do work. They open and close. Good, because it's Hershey. But I do know I got some wood car kits stashed away somewhere here. But still got to put this thing together. The frame and everything. But it's already painted, got all the advertisement painted onto it. Alright, where did I put that charger now? Oh. Well, Marie says she's doing some painting. Andy's out of town. Chris is getting ready to start building the third layer. Anybody else got anything going on?
Sherry's painting. Marie, I don't know what her New Year's resolutions are.
Well, I was told this week that it's going to be 2 years before I can start my layout, and so I got to figure out a way to make that happen sooner. I was thinking maybe if I named it after my husband, he might give me more money for it.
I like that plan.
You know, there's always a possibility. Most men are very acceptable to things like that.
Absolutely.
I thought that was a trick right out of some guys' books. You know, they name the stuff after their wives so they don't complain about spending the money.
Well, that's what I heard. That's why I thought maybe it would work in reverse for me.
Yep.
I'll-
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, so I'll admit, if anybody's seen my logo, it's called MC Squared. Reason being, it stands for Michigan Central for the railroad gang. And for the wife, it stands for Marie Christine. So, you know, it has a double meaning. That's why it's squared.
Tell you what, Professor has joined us. Boy, has he joined us.
Oh, I bet.
He has filled up my Q&A here. So I'm going to read off some of his comments so you go along with the conversation y'all just had.
Yeah, I don't have access to the Q&A on what
Yeah.
iPad, so.
Ain't no school like the old school, Car Kid said is.
Yeah, man.
That was one of his comments. Let me, no, and it's no excuse.
Westerfield, Panero, Carmelango, Tichy, those are all great kits still today.
Yeah. No excuse. Narrowing old wood car kit to HON3 is relatively easy.
Well, the prototype did it. I mean, the DNRTW done it, and the famous K27 is a standard gauge Mikado. They re-gauged the whole locomotive to make it a narrow gauge locomotive. It is a standard gauge locomotive. So that's not just something we can do in the models. That's a prototype practice.
Yeah. We also, professors also got ON18, ON20, AK, HON3. Maulers have been narrowing HO standard gauge cars for decades.
Well,
Thank you, Jim. Where did I put that charger? The cry of the dead railer.
yeah. Well, Marie's talking about doing hers dead rail. Talking about doing batteries on her little project. Realistically, that's not going to be a very expensive project. It's going to be a pretty cool project.
Yeah, Professor also put up here narrowing Tichy cars to HON3 is equally doable.
Absolutely, and they are exceptional cars, and you can buy them dirt cheap. And they are. I really like Tichy.
Yeah, I'll tell Troy about that. 2 years until you can start. Don't wait, just do it. Hear that, Marie? Marie. Oh. Remember that the older air standard gauge cars were narrower anyway, so it might not be as bad as one thinks.
Well, it's not out of the way for Jim to use them either. I mean, so he sticks them, on a abandoned track beside of an engine facility or something, and makes them very decrepit looking.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about this one, but while the rest of us just flick the switch and just start running, happy face.
Well, that was posted right after the one he said that the HON3 gauges had to narrow theirs, while the rest of us just flick the switch and start running.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't found any switch I can flip to just get mine running. It seems like years of work to get it. Sometime over the next year, I can get a little bit running, seriously running.
Yeah.
We're progressing pretty good though, man. I've put a lot of track in the last little while. I mean, I've built 30 feet of track in the last couple of weeks. Even with all the detail that I do on mine and ballast in the section and static grass to the track and everything all in the last couple of weeks, I've got quite a bit done actually. I've got it down to where it's progressing a lot faster than I would have thought possible.
Yeah, Professor clarified, where's the charger? Equals dead railer. Rest of us just flip the switches, start.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Well, I was confused.
No, Jimmy.
Professor said the joke never works if you have to explain it after the fact.
Indeed.
Dwight, Andy's out of town. He's in a hotel room, and the connection is rather spotty. Is the reason why he sounds muffled.
Yeah, it's abysmal.
In other words, he didn't want to admit it. His wife finally got tired of it. She locked him in the closet, won't let him out for the week.
Well, we knew that was coming. You do what you can do, but you can only hide that couple thousand foot on eBay so long before they find out.
Yeah. Professor said hotel Wi-Fi always a challenge.
You better believe it. Normally it's not that bad here, but tonight, when I'm trying to use it, yeah.
They must have a lot of guests.
Yeah, this place is normally pretty busy. It's right outside Indianapolis, so it's normally, I always have to book it in advance to get it.
Yeah. Andy obviously didn't name his railroad after his wife.
Well, her name could be Norfolk, or Plant, or something, I don't know. Went.
Noreen West.
Yeah.
Yep. Could be.
The benefit and the consequence of being a prototype modeler. I don't really get to name anything.
All right, Dwight's got something up here for you guys. Anyone know a good train shows in, and I'm having a lapse of memory right now, EMA, second week of February. He'll be there for 10 days.
Is that Maine?
Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Massachusetts.
He'll just miss the Amherst show.
Yeah.
He'll miss it by 2 weeks.
Well, to solve that problem, Dwight, you go 2 weeks earlier.
Right. Amherst is quite the show.
Yep, that's at the end of January. I'm probably assuming the reason why he's going in February is probably for the job. Yeah. Yeah, he said that they have a big one there in St. Paul the first week in February. As to what?
Okay.
We have a train show that Piedmont puts on the local NMRA division. That'll be March, I believe it is.
Hey, Marie, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now, if we could figure out a way we could run some HO track along that bar to go along with your train, I bet we could get that bar started sooner.
Yeah, say maybe for staging or something. Dwight said his son teaches in Boston.
Just something to think about, Marie.
Well, Jim, I noticed you didn't name your rail line after your wife.
No, it's named after my father.
Tell you what, Chris, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go mute you.
Yeah, go ahead. Although I am done doing what I was doing, so.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're done, then I'm a little slow on the trigger.
That was just my tape measure. Trying to measure. Got to measure the distance of the run so I can figure out what the grade will be.
Yeah, well, it sounded like you was rolling around toolbox, but if you're done, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm all done with making that noise. If I start again, I'll mute it first.
Yeah.
Did he get you a cloth measuring tape like they use in sewing or whatever? That's really easy to measure main lines and stuff. You can lay it right on the track, and it'll go around with the curvature and all that stuff for measuring track runs. That's a really good technique.
You know, I've got one of those somewhere, and I don't even know where. Years ago, I had one. I have to look for it. Probably a good idea.
Yeah, they work pretty well. And the old fold-out wood measuring tapes, not a tape, but the old wood fold-out ones, they're kind of handy for laying out trackage as well, because you can kind of, angle all the components around the curvature and stuff. But a cloth measure tape is really kind of the trick.
All right, Dwight's comment here. Topic: insulated turnouts, live turnouts. Professor's comment: live equals reliable, insulated equals easy.
Yeah, I would back that up, but with the current keepers these days, you can kind of have the best of both worlds. You can have the easy way and have them run reliable if you put current keepers in your locomotive. That's what I'm going for. It's cheaper to buy current keepers than it is to buy frog juicers. Depends on the number of locomotives versus the number of turnouts, but on my layout, it's cheaper to put current keepers in the locomotive.
So I've got an illiterate question here. If a frog is only, let's say, in HO scale is only 1.5 inches long, and it's non-insulated, and your locomotive's front wheels and back wheels are 4 inches apart, why would it lose power going through the frog?
It's more about getting the right electricity to the entire turnout. A lot of the old turnouts depended on the point making good electrical contact with the stock rails to pass electricity, and that's not a good idea to depend on that mechanical connection. So,
we couldn't hear about 7/8 of that answer.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. It's too bad our network.
Yeah, the network was crapping out on you.
Yeah, it's too bad network for me to give such an explanation. You're still bad?
No, you're good right now.
A part of the reason is that for this whole kind of problem is that one, a lot of the older turnouts depended on when mechanical with from the point of the frog, which on a large turnout can be a fairly long distance. Now, on modern turnouts, get insulated. They spread across the point behind or other
Yeah, Andy, you're still pretty bad there. Might as well give that one up.
I think what he's trying to say is that the point rails themselves often don't have a good, reliable connection. So it's more than just the frog that's not powered sometimes, depending on how, if you use stock turnouts, a lot of times the connections they give you are not so good. But one of the other things that I've noticed recently, especially on Atlas turnouts, is I thought the same exact thing that you did. It's like, okay, these locomotives are plenty long. They're 6-axle locomotives. Why are they stalling? So I really started studying them, and what I'm noticing is when they get onto the point rails aren't necessarily level with the outside stock rails, and what it tends to do is lift the locomotive. Or even when you hit the frog, sometimes the frog doesn't have a full depth flange, so you notice your wheels kind of lift up going over the frog. And on some of these locomotives that depend on the weight of the truck contacting the frame, that's how they sometimes one of the either the positive or negative goes from the truck to the frame through a connection where it pivots, and if that lifts up the frame off the truck a little because the truck is going crooked one side to the other over the frog or the point rails, that seems to be what's causing it, at least in the case of the Atherns that I'm running. So it's not just the frog, it's even the point rails. You can literally see the locomotive drop down as it comes off the point rail back onto the stock rail.
Yeah,
I think that might have something to do with it too. No, go ahead.
No, I just agree with you. I've seen that as well. And if you are not, in my opinion, you have to do one of two things. You either have to wire the frog, or you have to put current keepers in the locomotive. One of the two.
Well, I'm thinking in my case, it's going to have to be the second option, because even powering the frog isn't going to be enough if it's the point rails that are causing the problems. And I've got jumpers wired right to the point rails, so it's not that it doesn't have power. It's that something about the locomotive going through especially on the diverging routes, not typically on the straight through route, but on the diverging route is when I have the problem most of the time, and it's like literally lifting the locomotive and causing it to lose contact somehow, and I'm figuring it's between the wheel and the side frame, or the side frame and the main frame, or something. It's got more to do than power, so I think the best thing to do would be to go with those current keepers. Problem is I have such a large fleet that it's going to be a lot of work to put all of those current keepers in.
True, but the benefit is if you have more turnouts than locomotives, and most people with a reasonable layout does, then it's cheaper to put current keepers in than to power your frogs.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
But the biggest thing is you get so many extra benefits with the current keepers. If you have other bad trackage or dirty track, or there's just so many other benefits.
Right, you can spend $10 or $15 a turnout to put a frog juicer or something else like that on there, or even just trying to goof around with an electrical switch to power your frog. But you're exactly right, you won't get any benefits anywhere else from dirty track or a jumper that bad solder joint or something. That current keeper will keep you going anywhere, not just on a frog.
Yep, and you have more consistent performance with regard to things like sound with them.
And if you're going to do any like helper service, if you've got just a single locomotive pushing on the back end, and you're going around a curve, and either the back end stalls or the head end stalls, you know, you can cause a derailment around the curve just because of one of the locomotives stalling. So then it's really important to make sure one doesn't stall for any reason.
Absolutely, and my helper district is through 2 helixes.
That's why I double head all my locomotives in case one stalls, the other one will keep it going. You know, whether it's pushers on the back end or the locomotives on the head end, I always run at least a pair together so that if one stalls, the other one will keep it going.
Absolutely.
Chris?
Yo.
Professor's got a comment up here. Says there's something about the locomotive. This is your on call to action. I guess there might be a problem in the locomotive pickups or wiring. You know, might take a look at that too.
Right. But it's been very consistent in Athearn RTRs especially. They run mostly SD40s and 45s, and I watch them go through those Atlas turnouts that I have, and they're like brand new turnouts. So it's not that they're old, poor quality turnouts. They're just brand new, even worse quality turnouts. So I don't think I'll be buying any more of those.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
I have brand new Atlas turnouts, and I was getting derailments through them because the frogs were slightly higher than the stock rail.
Yeah, and even
the flanges were catching. And I ended up going through with a file and filing out the trenches in the frog to get the flange clearance. And since I've done that, I haven't had any problems with derailments through the frogs.
The only problem with that is you have to be careful you don't file too deep because of the way those frogs are made. The reason that they're an isolated frog is because they've got a thin layer of metal running underneath the frog to connect the rails to the rail on the other side of the frog, and then there's another layer just above it. So you could file through one layer all the way to the second layer, and then your wheels could potentially contact both layers at the same time and cause a short.
I see. Okay.
It's kind of like a sandwich of metal, plastic, you know, if you ever one of those apart. That's how they get the electricity from one side of the frog to the other.
Okay.
It's like a piece of plywood, only it's plastic and metal.
Gotcha.
Alternating layers. So yeah, just don't file too deep.
So what you're telling me now that I've done that in all my box cars and stuff, I haven't had a problem yet because the engines are all brass wheels, but all my rolling stock is plastic wheels.
Yeah. Well, if you'd have found a problem if you went too deep, you'd start seeing shorting and as you go through them.
Okay.
You know, and that might be the stalling. Actually, could be a momentary short. But if you had the problem before you filed them, then that's not. Then most likely just because.
No, I haven't had any problem with stalling. It was just that they were hitting the frogs and causing derailments.
Yeah, I noticed on these, the ones I've got are number 6s, and I can't believe how poor the point rails are on them. I mean, they're a different color they're a silver, look like a piece of sintered metal rather than a piece of drawn rail like the rest of it. And then they're actually literally higher than the rails around them. You can watch a locomotive drop down off the point rail onto the stock rail as it comes off the diverging road.
Okay.
And it's pretty consistent on all of them, so it isn't just a bad one or a manufacturing thing. It's the way they made them now.
Yeah, Professor said that, I guess he's referring to like frog juicers and those sort of things. Try again, US $3 per turnout for a micro switch. Works on all locos of any format, analog, DC, whatever, and any wheelbase length. Just put the micro switch in there.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Depending on what you're throwing.
Depends on how you throw. Yeah, if you use servos, that's not going to work. Using servos means I kind of have to use frog juicer.
I guess you could potentially mount a micro switch next to the arm on the servo, so if it's a either or micro switch, you know, that if it's not a make break, if it's a make in opposite polarity, you know, when your servo arm comes over, it could make contact one way and throw the polarity, and as it comes off the micro switch arm, it could, you know, if it flipped polarity, that would work.
Yeah, I thought about a few different ways. I even thought about using rocker contact switches, so that as the servo moves the wire back, it pushes one contact down, and as it moves to another position, it pushes a different contact down. That way, it didn't require too strong of a servo, because having to throw a switch may require a much stronger mechanical servo than otherwise necessary. And I also want to maintain the slow motion operation of the servo. I think that's possible, but I just get, and I may have tried to figure that out if I had decided I needed to power the frogs. But current keepers just come with so many other innate benefits that it just seemed like such a win.
Yeah, if you can make your own current keepers, you can make them for a couple bucks a piece too. If you buy commercial, if you buy commercial, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. But if you make your own, which aren't too difficult, then you can get the price way down, and you have the flexibility. If you go with like 5 capacitors, you can mount them all over the locomotive wherever you have space, rather than these pre-bundled packages you buy that are hard to fit in depending on your locomotive. That's one benefit too of the homemade ones. You can spread the capacitors all in every little nook and cranny on your frame.
Yeah, and you can build them for about $4 a piece. If you buy them, they're about $20 a piece.
If you're lucky, I think they go up from there.
Yeah.
What brand you buy.
Yeah, TCS has them for about $19.95, and I've seen them a little cheaper in packs of 3, but normally they're about $19.95.
Well, and if you buy the TCS Wow Sound decoder, if you get it with the current keeper right away, it's only about $10. The upcharge is only about $10 to get it with the decoder. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer to do that, but I am a complete advocate of building them myself, and I can, so. And I'm thinking about starting to build some custom electronics and selling it anyway. Since I've had to design some of this stuff like the Arduino-based signal system controller, I'm thinking I may sell some of those. So I may build some current keepers and sell them online.
You know what else you could do, I'm just thinking, is the biggest problem people most have is where am I going to get the parts, or which ones should I buy even if I know where to get them? Just bundle up the pieces in a plastic bag that the guys can solder together themselves however they want, but at least they know they got the right parts. You know what I mean? Go out to Mouser and buy 1,000 of them in capacitors and bundle them up in little bags of 5 with a Zener diode and a resistor, and away you go. You know.
And a little piece of copper PCB. I'm definitely doing that. That's a great idea.
We got another question here. This is from Eric. If you use tortoise switches and power the frog with a switch, is that all you need? No
Absolutely.
frog juicers, etc.
Yes. If you have a tortoise, it has contacts already in it.
Yeah.
So if you're using tortoises, problem solved. Those of us that use servos have to deal with some trade-offs.
Yeah, the tortoise has a really nice double pull, double throw switch built into it. You know, and you throw it one way and it throws the polarity one way. When the switch goes the other way, it'll flip the polarity. Yeah, that's built right in. That's a nice feature. If you're running tortoises, that's all you need.
Absolutely. But I pretty much have to use servos. It's a critical part of my layout design because of the very, very thin shelf depth.
I might actually be using some tortoises just because of the fact that I have a box of them, and on my staging deck, I'm definitely doing servos because of the low profile. But for my
Yep.
passing sightings on the lower deck, I may actually just use some of the tortoises I have because there's
Hey,
no
you
space
gotta.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, the professor also was saying that you might want to break out the NMRA gauge to confirm who's the issue, the wheel flange height or the frog flange weight depth. Yes,
Yeah, I
of
would
course.
second that.
I can
Although
do
I've
that.
never seen a
Do that.
commercial turnout that met the NMRA gauge. Every
I'll test
commercial
it right
turnout.
now.
Cool. But part of the reason I started hand laying track is I was so dissatisfied with commercial track work, and I'm still dissatisfied with commercial track work.
All right, professor put up here, try reading the MRH thread, which has already done the pricing comparison and all. And I'm making a copy of these links, and I'll post them at the end of the show. So
All
anybody
right.
wants to see these links, they'll be able to pause the player and copy them down so they can go to them.
Yeah, and I've seen that thread on the argument between current keepers and frog juicers. Joe Fugit was talking about it, and he was on that thread, and I would say that thread probably contributed to me going ahead and committing to current keepers. Honestly, if you got a question about something, you got to search the MRH forums. There's so much stuff there.
Which one was that, Andy?
The Model Railroad Hobbyist forums,
Yeah.
their
Okay.
forums, there's so much activity on the forums, and Joe Fugit and Mike Hufflo and Mike Rose and I mean just all these major modelers are chiming in on them and posting stuff on there. The MRH forums are the best single place. I mean, these communities on G Plus, Model Railroad, YouTube Model Railroaders, and some of the Facebook pages and groups, Facebook groups, and some of the Yahoo groups. They're great for specific stuff, but the MRH forums are they're a critical read for any model railroader these days.
How you doing, Bob?
Pretty good. Still trying to get over this cold.
I ain't real sure about that pretty part, Bob.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. The question I started out with tonight, Bob, instead of a New Year's resolution, what is your goal for this year on your layout?
Helix to the second floor.
Yeah, I think my goal this year might be to put in this helix in the man cave.
All right.
That's kind of working toward that right now. But got to clean up the mess first.
Hey, you got a real good plan, brother. I really look forward to seeing you pull that off. I'm excited about what you're doing there because your plan looks really good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to grab this and do a quick public announcement mid-show break. Thursday's Hangouts are the proud sponsor of the YouTube Mall Builders, the EMAG, and the YouTube Mall Builders live show, and also the Tuesday night and Thursday night moderated Hangouts. The website is youtubemallbuilders.com. You can go to the website, check out the schedules for the Tuesday night shows and the live shows, which are the third Saturday of each month. And talking about that, we have a live show this Saturday. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but Bill is unable to be here this month, so I'm taking his place and hosting that show for him. Andy's going to be on the show, and we got a new modeler, Joe Tennessee, I think it is. His railroad's called Ales and Rails, and he's going to be on the show also. And also Phil here will be on the show with us too, and we'll be talking about layouts. Also, you can go to YouTubeModelBuilders.com and sign up for a notification for the e-magazine. So when it comes out, you get notified, and that will be coming out. Don't hold me to it, but I think maybe next week. JD and his crew do a fine job on that, on our e-magazine. So, YouTubeModelBuilders.com. That's where to go. Get the schedules. And now we're back to our regularly scheduled program. Doesn't that sound professional?
Oh, yeah. We will return you to your regular scheduled program.
Hey, I like that even better, Bob.
If this was a real emergency.
Yeah, I need to record that sometime when we're in the Hangout. Yeah, I'll play it back.
If this was a real emergency, you would have heard much screaming and cussing before the audio went out.
So I'm a happy camper. While you were doing that, now that I cleared off my upper deck, my staging deck, which has been full of cars for the better part of a year, I took pictures to see if my tracks warped, because last year at this time I had some severe kinks in those tracks because of the change in humidity between winter and summer. But apparently whatever I did to repair them worked, because they're all still nice and straight.
Yeah, man, they look perfect. How many tracks are up there? 9?
That's 9.
Yeah, that's a good sized staging yard. I'm trying to figure out how I can get. I think I'm gonna have about 5 on each end, and I really need a little bit more than that, but I don't see how I can squeeze it in.
Yeah, that's only one part of it. It's about half of it.
Huh.
Yeah. Dwight made the comment, the song Just a Rainy Night in Georgia. Yeah, I'll probably be starting sometime tonight. It's supposed to be raining today on Friday.
Yeah, we might get some snow tonight.
Better you than us.
Well, it was like 55 degrees today, and then all of a sudden tonight it's going to have snow.
Well, it won't stick then.
Yeah, it'll stay because we're getting down to like 1 on Sunday for a high. For a high.
That's 1 degree warmer than we're supposed to get, so take it. They gave us a high of 0 with the overnight low of -7. So.
Well, I'm definitely thinking Big Bill had the right idea skipping out on Saturday's show and going to Fiji or well, at least Florida.
Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands. I knew it was somewhere exotic.
Yeah.
I feel bad for it all being stranded on the Virgin Islands, but not that bad.
Yeah. Well, he's flying in Saturday night. Yeah, Dwight Lottos didn't win the lottery either, so I heard there's only 3 people.
Yes, I'm proud to announce that my fellow railroaders that are going to Indiana, you are paying for your own rooms. I'm not picking up the tab.
Oh, gee, Phil.
I'm sorry. I only got one number. And I don't pay nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got $4. Will be one number and a Powerball.
All right, guys. Good night. I'm gonna hop off. I'm tired of my horrible audio. I'm tired of listening to the horrible audio, and so I'll catch up with you guys on Saturday or before.
Okay.
All right, Andy.
Take her easy, Andy.
Have a good one, Andy.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, let the party begin.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we have some new people I haven't seen. before. Sherry.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's
Nice to meet you, Bob. I was going to comment about your little sexy Christmas you had in your video there. That was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, you like that, huh?
I do like your layout, though. That's cool how you're running around the ceiling like that. And you do the little ride around on your train.
Yeah,
Cool.
I wish the video was a little bit better on that, but yeah, gotta use what you got.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we all got the idea. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and the other female we have is in Michigan too, Bob, and
Marie.
She's a unique person.
She's sharing the internet with Philip, I guess.
That's well said, Johnny. Well said.
It was just right off the top of the head there, you know.
Right.
Unique.
Instead of going pew, it went shoo. Yeah. Dwight, Bob wants to know, what is that car?
That is an old car. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's probably a 40s era kind of Studebaker or something. I don't know, but it was kind of a little sideshow salvage yard thing that they like to go and buy some weird things and put them up alongside on the hill along the highway so people can come in and stop and shop. But this one had like 3 little mannequin aliens on the inside, and so it's sort of like a UFO crash recovery team is what it said. And, and behind that there's a rocket ship or something on a trailer. And then there was another great big, off this other side, there's a great big, huge guitar, like something from Hard Rock Cafe or something. So then there was
that in Roswell?
No, this is in Minnesota, on Highway 35, going up to Minneapolis.
Oh, that must have been Troy's front yard.
Yeah. Yeah, Salvage Sam's. That's pretty good, unique stuff.
That must have been where the secret Minnesota crash site was at.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They got a couple cabooses out there and a rail car and stuff. They put a lot of antiques and stuff in there. So that was pretty neat.
So how'd that engine run, Chris, or have you tried it yet?
It worked. It just seemed like the front truck wasn't picking up, which doesn't surprise me with an Athearn, so I'll probably tear it apart and hardwire just like you were talking about earlier, solder it to the truck to make sure. So
yeah,
nothing unexpected for an Athearn. So I'm just finishing up something here, and I'll share it with you guys if you're interested. Well, yeah, there we go. Perfect. If anybody's interested in learning how to calculate a grade, I was just trying to figure out. I need to climb. I want to figure out what percentage grade I need to get from one established point to another. If you guys want to learn how to do that real quick, I could do that for you. Just walk you through what I just did.
Oh, sure.
Let me get to Dwight's comment by real fast. Where are you all buying Radio Shack stuff nowadays? I still got a few Radio Shack stores here that I just go to.
Yeah, there's 2 in my town.
But you probably go to RadioShack.com and be able to buy online.
I'm not sure if there's anything left in Omaha.
Yeah.
We had one at a mall, but I don't know if I know that's gone.
I know one of them here in town is a Sprint store now. I don't know what happened to the others.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
Okay, I'll give you a quick tour. So I need to go from the end of my helix here. Let's see if I can get the camera right. Oh, that helps. Thank you. So right here I have 4 inches clearance between my staging deck and this track where it comes out of the helix. And on the other side of the room over here, where I need to climb to, I'm going to walk over here. When I get over to here, which I have a little mock-up, it's 11.4 inches. You know, that's all according to the plans I drew up. So I need to figure out from the distance from here back to the other point. Okay, I have 11.4 inches here and 4 inches on the other, so the difference is 7.4 inches. So I'm basically going to be climbing 7.4 inches from here to there. And when I was making all that noise earlier with my tape measure, I was measuring what the actual distance, linear distance is from approximately where the tracks are going to be. And that came out to be 41 feet. So basically in 41 feet, I want to climb 7.4 inches. So the way I figured that out is you take the 41 feet and multiply it by 12. That gives me 492 inches. So I'll work with inches instead of feet. Because if you take a 1% grade would mean you're climbing 1 inch in 100 inches. That's 1%, just like a penny to a dollar. So a 1% grade literally climbs 1 inch in 100 inches. Well, I know I have 492 inches, and I want to climb 7.4 inches. So what's the percent of grade going to be? The way I figure that out is you take your 7.4 and divide it by, I just did 4.92, which is 492 inches, and I come up with a 1.5. So that tells me I have a 1.5% grade would get me that 7.4 inches in 41 feet, or 492 inches. And the way you double check that is I took the 492 inches times 0.015, which would be 1.5%, and it equals 7.38. So, you know, just due to rounding, it came out 0.02 inches off, but that just confirms a 1.5% grade will get me that 7.4 inches I need in 41 feet. It's really not that difficult if you know a little math. You know, it's just a matter of the whole key that where I learned it from was that simple remembering a penny to a dollar. Okay, if you want to climb 1 inch, if you climb 1 inch in 100 inches, which is just a little over 10 feet, or I mean 8 feet, you're going to be 1% grade. So you could actually just round that down a little bit. If you go up 1 inch in 8 feet, that's a 1% grade basically. So
Yeah.
if you're going 32 feet, at 1% you'd climb 4 inches. You know, if you went 8 feet, it'd be 8 inches. So this is a kind of an easy thing to remember, and even if you're not a math genius, if you can just remember that penny to the dollar, you can, you know, fudge your way through it with a pencil and a piece of paper. You just have to know how far the run is and how far you want to climb. You know, if you take a tape measure and you figure out, okay, I want to climb from here to there, and I've got 16 feet to do it, what's my grade going to be? Well, if you're going to go 8 inches and 16 feet, that's pretty severe grade. You know, if it was 2 inches, that'd be a 1% grade. But at 8 inches, that'd be like a 4% grade. So that's pretty nasty unless you're running an old geared Shay or something,
Yeah.
like logging locomotive. So.
And if you forget the penny to a dollar, Chris's phone number will be posted at the end of the show. Nah, just kidding.
So you're saying 1 inch per 8 feet is 1%.
Yeah, very close to it. It'd be
So
1 inch.
So 4 inches climb to 8 foot would be 4%.
Right.
Right. That's pretty simple to remember. One inch.
1 inch and
per 8
1 inch
foot.
and 100, you know, but 98 feet is like 96 inches, so that's close enough. You'll be a decimal off, but not much, you know. Over a long, long run, that error could add up, but for a short run, that's easy ballpark sanity check. You know, if you're not sure about your numbers, just use that as a sanity check.
Sanity, what's that?
That's the opposite of model railroading, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You should give up your day job, Chris, and become a college math professor.
Well, I'm not that good at it.
Neither are the students.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they wouldn't know the difference, would they?
That's right. No, they would.
No.
No comment.
You'd always get that one that, you know, always thinks he knows more than the teacher and going to challenge you on everything. So.
And ends up knowing more than the teacher.
Yeah, or may have known more coming in. I had a few teachers like that. And I wasn't a genius by any means. It's like, really? You could be a teacher? I could be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And you get summers off.
Yeah, but no pay.
It's built in.
Right.
I remember when I was in high school, a kid come in, you know, he's sitting there for the first week, and he's just sleeping through the whole class. And teacher, you know, just kind of like, you know, wakes him up a little bit and goes, okay, this is, you know, do you know the answer to this question up here on the board that I wrote? And he goes, yeah, sure. Went up there and finished it, and he goes, you're not paying attention. How'd you know that? Well, I know everything. he goes and goes, says, I'd like to test out of this class. Says, this is a year-long class. I still want to test out of it. Give me a stack of every test that you want to give me for this algebra class, algebra 2 or something like that, and I'll take them and hand them in tomorrow. Or actually, I'll sit here all during lunch and take them. You know. And the next week he was gone. He graduated out. He moved him up to another class. He goes, you know, this is boring. I have to be here to get credit, but give me the damn credit.
Yeah.
I didn't know you was in my class, Bob.
Yeah.
Touche. That's because you were sleeping, Jim. If you go by the story.
Yeah, Dwight said that his son and wife both are teachers, so they work all summer, just not in classrooms.
Yeah.
My next door neighbor's elementary school teacher, and you know, she doesn't. That's the only part she doesn't like about summers is because she doesn't get paid. Not unless she teaches summer school.
Don't they spread the salary out over 12 months or not?
Don't think so. Since she says she doesn't get paid. Like she just gets paid for when she's there.
Well, they don't have unemployment insurance?
I don't know.
They're working 8 or 9 months out of the year.
Yeah. They probably got some kind of benefits. I'm not sure.
My older sister's a teacher. I guess I should ask her. Never bothered to ask.
I mean, it could be different state to state.
Well, in some states, I know it's not train related, but some states have year-long schooling.
Yeah.
The kids just get out for a couple of week recess break and go right back.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna mute because I'm gonna go back with this noisy tape measure, and now I can mark my heights on the studs now that I know how much I have to climb. You know, I can go 100 inches and mark at 1.5% at every 100 inches, and I'll be able to trace lines across the studs and know exactly where my level's got to be. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah,
Yes,
Dwight said no unemployment, just part-time jobs.
Well, Chris, for my elevation, I bought Woodland Scenics products, so I didn't have to mess with it.
Yeah, that's what do they say, Jim?
Cheater.
Yes, they say cheater, lazy man, but in my book, you're a very smart man.
Well, I mean, hey, those things work, you know, depends on the situation.
Right.
If I had a straight incline where I didn't have no S curves to go through like I do, then maybe it was something I could do with some styrofoam, be easy enough to do. But since I got some curves, I didn't feel like trying to slice accordion style into my styrofoam, and I don't have the plywood where I could do cookie cutter and whatnot. So it's easy enough.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Instead of ready to roll stock, I got ready to incline, whatever you
Boom.
Exactly. Yes, yes. You pick and choose where you want to spend your money.
And it's not too bad. I mean, I paid $30, 15 for the incline and 15 for the decline, but it's not that expensive, really. I mean, I guess if I was doing a lot of it, it could be, but for my application, $30 bill solved the problem. I ain't got to worry about it, and I can go through my S curves easy enough.
Yeah, see, what I need to do is that whole deck is a continuous climb, so I need to mark, and I want the supports underneath, especially in the beginning where there's only 4 inches clearance. I need those supports to climb as quick as they can and get out of the way of the trains underneath. So I'm just going to mark all along the studs. I have it studded every 16 inches like you would a wall. So I'm just going to figure out and snap a chalk line where that grade, because it's just a continuous grade the whole way. So, but the whole plywood and everything is going to be on that grade. So.
Yeah. Dwight has a comment question. I have a straight incline. Loco just makes it about 3 feet, and I assume it stops. He stopped the comment there. So, I mean, that could be a number of things. The incline's too steep. Loco's just not, strong enough to pull it.
Or heavy enough.
Yeah,
Right.
heavy enough.
Yeah, it depends if it's because the wheels are slipping or it just plain stalls. That, and it depends whether it's
long.
running light or with a bunch of cars pulled behind it.
Yeah. Have you tried running just the engine up the incline, Dwight? See if it'll go by itself.
It might be a fairly steep incline then. You should have them measure the length of the incline and how many inches it climbs over that length, and then use the penny to the dollar rule. So you can figure out what your percent of grade is, because anything over 2% is getting pretty steep for HO.
Yeah.
Or any, even real life, 2.2 is about the max in a real life prototype train. Not that there aren't steeper, but very seldom nowadays, unless it's an old logging railroad.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say use of the prototype railroads prefer a 1% if they can get away with it. Dwight's comment: 3% grade works fine, but not heavy cars.
Oh, okay. That
About
makes sense.
2 to 3 inches.
Okay. And you just need to run shorter trains or get heavier locomotives or put some bullfrog snot on the wheels or something.
Or helper engines.
Helpers, there you go. Yeah, the Mullen Pass that I'm modeling in real life has 2.2% on the east side of it. That's the side that I'm modeling. And on the other side, it's only like 1.4. So that's why it needs all the helpers, even in real life.
Yeah. Or run a consist just to have helpers.
Yep.
I mean, 3-4 engines in a consist, that looks good.
Well, back in the 90s where I'm modeling it, when it was all SD40s and SD45s, they would, a 120 car coal train would have 6 or 7 on the head end, and then 2 different sets of 4 mid-train helpers cut in. So a total of about 14, 15 locomotives to get that 120 cars over that 2.2% grade. And that's what I'm modeling. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
There'll be some dummies mixed in there, though. I don't think I'll need to have all of them powered. That might just get to be too much. You overpower it, that's when you start throwing cars off the track. If you power it just enough that the locomotives start slipping, even when you have a couple of them on there, then it's not that big a deal. You don't have to worry about string lining or pushing them off a curve.
Yeah, like Dave was showing the video, one of the Hangouts, how they started letting trains run faster and faster. And then they started having a lot of derailments, and they were looking at what was going on. And the trains usually that were having the most derailments were pulling a lot of empties at high speeds. And they found around about 60, 65 miles an hour. Those empty cars were actually coming, the trucks were coming up off the rails and started bouncing. So that's the reason why they limited the top speed limits to a lot slower. So when they're pulling a lot of empty cars, they don't start bouncing. They'll sit on the track like they're supposed to. They were showing some videos in the when they were explaining that, where they put cameras under the cars. All right, Sherry, you have a good night. We'll talk at you later.
All right. Have a good night, guys. I didn't want to interrupt your conversation. You were discussing important stuff.
That's
Because a big grade can really cause problems. I've been there, done that, tried that with the O gauge. Wow. Not bad going up. It's the coming down when it picks up speed.
Yeah.
Not recommended if you can get away with not doing it. Less
Take
is
care.
best.
Take care, Sherry.
Yep, you too. Hey, Philip, I posted that link to Hobby Recycling on my Google page. If you get a chance, it's got his phone number and address and everything. So
He might have stepped away.
okay, yeah, because we had lost him the other night when we were talking about
Yeah.
it. So I want to at least let him know that I did remember and it's posted. I don't know if he's had a chance to find it.
I'll tell him when he comes back in. Because when you posted that link, I copied it, and I kept forgetting to give it to him when I saw him in Hangouts.
Yeah, and I couldn't figure out how to get it to him other than on my page. So I'm still
Yeah.
trying to figure the whole Google thing out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be sure he gets that. Well, he's back now. Phil?
Yes, sir.
There he is.
Sherry's got something for you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I had posted the link for Hobby Recycling with Jerry's phone number and address over in Grand Rapids, Wyoming, whatever you want to call it. So if you get a chance, it's on my Google page. I wasn't sure how to send it to you. He's got a Facebook page too, but I didn't copy that link. It'll give you his phone number because I don't think he's got a web page. He's a little more
Okay.
old school.
I posted it in the comment section for you, Phil.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, he's got a lot of the HO scale stuff, and if he doesn't have it, he could maybe find anything you guys might be looking for.
Okay, cool.
Oh, wait, you guys have a good night. I'm gonna call it a night. We got physical therapy in the morning for Harry again.
Yeah. Well, y'all have a good day tomorrow. Hope everything goes fine.
Thanks, Sherry.
Well, yeah, it's not snowing or sleeting or raining, so hopefully it'll be decent in the morning.
Yeah. All righty.
Okay.
All right,
See
you
ya.
guys have a good night.
All right, bye. And thank you, Dwight. Dwight said, say, Johnny, you sure are busy tonight. Thanks for being there. You're welcome. Since I got the mic right now, I will say that all the links have been posted so far tonight in the Q&A. I have been copying them to a document. Jim gave me the idea last week when he did it. And I will take at the very end of this show, put the document in a screen share so that at the end of the show you'll have it right there. You'll be able to hit pause and copy whichever link or all of them and go back and check them out. Okay, back to you guys.
Oh, we're boring.
No. But yeah, hopefully we got that new guy coming in on a live show this coming Saturday. If you want to go ahead and check out his site, he's called Ales and Rails on YouTube.
Ales and rails.
Yeah, what he does is when he posts his update videos, he usually starts it out with a local microbrewery beer. He belongs to some kind of organization for microbreweries. And he gives a short talk on it, and then he goes on into his train update.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've seen a couple of his videos. They're interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here talking to you guys and you're ignoring me. I realize I'm muted.
Phil wasn't going to say anything.
My comment was that maybe the Ales and Rails guy could help me with my bar train.
Very well.
I can't remember where he's at now.
I don't remember either.
I want to say Ohio.
Yeah, I was thinking pretty close to us here in Michigan.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out Saturday night.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask Jason what he'd been working on tonight. I saw him over there doing something, but he stepped away.
So what are you working on tonight, Marie?
Planning.
Better be homework. Planning the inclines on the bar rail.
No, because don't want the beverages to spill.
Mm.
Right. No inclines on the bar railroad.
No inclines on the bar railroad.
Well, I guess you'll have to incline the HO track. Let's start out under the G scale and then progress up above it.
Yeah, it'll probably dip down and go under the bar and then come back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be able to get away with a few staging tracks there too.
Shh.
Staging tracks. Huh?
Those would be tracks that are needed to accomplish the bar railroad, Johnny.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get my whole plan set before I let everybody know what I have going on. So I'm afraid there's going to be too many comments and input from the peanut gallery.
No, not really.
That would never happen, no.
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 Does it involve a chainsaw and somebody
Not
else's
us.
layout?
Chainsaws and sawsaws.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Did she just call us a bunch of nuts?
Mm-hmm.
Peanut gallery, huh?
Good thing she's not allergic to nuts.
Yes, it's a very good thing she's not allergic to nuts.
There's a lot of us in this peanut gallery.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially just a few feet away from her.
You mean a level. Upstairs.
I'm in my
Down.
living room upstairs.
Was she upstairs?
Yes.
Safe distance.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Well, I see Mahler Jason's back. What you been working on tonight? I saw you working on something there during the show.
I was working on the radio control caboose. First, I was working on drilling the holes out for the trucks, and then got the trucks on, and I fitted everything, and then decided to put the coupler boxes on. That's pretty much all I was working on. Yeah.
That's a radio control caboose?
Or a pusher.
Oh,
What it is just like a shover platform.
oh, okay. Powered unit without a cab.
Yeah.
But it looks like a caboose.
Yep.
Hang
That's
on,
what I pretty much got done right now.
hang on. All right, bring it down just a little bit. Come down. There, a little bit lower. There you go. Now you're in camera. So you had to plug the holes where the trucks go?
Yep. And then I re-drilled them.
Yeah. Use the self-tapping screws to mount the
No.
trucks.
No, I just used pin vise.
Yeah, but I mean, now that you got it drilled, are you going to tap it, or are you going to use self-tapping screws to put trucks on?
I'm just going to put screws in. I'm not,
Just let them cut the threads.
yeah. Yep. And then when I get time to work on it, after get everything set up right and all that, I might be putting
Down.
here, let me bring it up
Yeah,
some too.
there you go.
Probably gonna put a skirt on the front for the platform.
Now,
Just got-
units like that, do they have any kind of lighting? You know, like your locos do, front and rear lights or anything?
Yeah, there'll be like a searchlight would be on it. Have like a headlight. I'm gonna try to see if I can put 2 lights, like ditch lights, for searchlights, and then don't worry about a headlight.
Yeah.
And then I'll be putting a horn on it on top.
Yeah.
So whenever it comes to a crossing, it can
Yeah.
do the horn sequence instead of the engine, because it'll be shoving the engine will be shoving, and it'll be like it could be a half-mile away
Yeah.
from the crossing.
Hmm.
So I'm going to do that with this one.
Yeah.
Plugged every window out and all that. But right now I'm pretty much tuckered out right now on that.
What road name you gonna put on it?
It's going to just be the Rochester and Illini Central one. My railroad. Pretty much that it will be.
It's interesting to be a power caboose.
Yeah. It'll be just pretty much a shover unit. Train crew can be on that instead of on the locomotive. Locomotive can be MU'd and be radio controlled, and power can be up, or the controls can be in that caboose, controlling the engine.
Yeah.
Because Amtrak has done it before, had a cab part on a coach. Let's see here. Just got a question from Dwight. He's asking me if I'm going to the big show in Chicago this weekend. No, I'm not. I'm going to be not going to any big shows until probably March. Then that'll be the Springfield show in Illinois, and then I think in April I'll go to Decatur.
Oh, you're coming down here, huh?
No, Decatur, Illinois.
I was going to say, I didn't know Decatur down here is going to have a train show.
It's not. It was Decatur, Johnny, not Decatur.
It's Decatur.
Well, I know I'm going to Kansas City for the N-Scale convention, and then the week after that going to Indianapolis for the National Train Convention, or train show.
In July.
A bunch of us are going to be trying to go there.
No trying. You're going.
Oh, I'm going, yeah.
Yeah, we need to get Chris in on that one, too.
Yes.
Chris is going, huh?
What's a train show?
Oh, what y'all doing? What y'all getting me into now?
Yeah, what are you volunteering me for?
July, Indianapolis train show.
You know, for the national?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was seriously considering that. I probably will.
Well, a bunch of us going, so
Well, that would be awesome. Because that's pretty close for me, you know. That's only probably an 8-hour drive, not even. So,
well, when do you think you're gonna come up? Friday or what?
I don't know yet for sure. I just know that when I saw that it was going to be in Indy, I kind of said to myself, I got to go to that one. So,
All right, because everybody's been telling me I got to bring some barbecue up.
well, add me to the list then. Just add another 10 pounds to the list, whatever you had going. So.
I think Indy already has one night planned for us, I think.
I might be able to swap you for some smoked salmon or something.
Yeah. Well, I got to figure out how to get on the airplane.
Are we going to get Dude to come down too?
I don't know. I hadn't talked to dude.
That's a long way for him.
Yeah.
Might be able to get Troy to come. Probably another 8 hours. Yeah, it might be a 16-hour drive for him.
Yeah.
If I go pick him up. Yeah, he doesn't get out much.
Doesn't realize there's life beyond the basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about that, Dwight. I didn't win the lottery last night.
Augusta.
Yeah.
Is that the golfing thing?
Yeah, that's where the PGA is.
Okay.
Yeah, my next door neighbor had life tickets to that. He had a hotel over. He didn't have to make reservations. They just kept him the same room for every year.
Really?
Yeah. He'd been going there for so long. He didn't have to make the reservations. He go check out, and they go, your room's ready for next year. Okay.
Cool.
You know, yeah, I'm sure the hotel really like it. I get there. Can I get about 3-4 microwaves brought to my room? We're having a cookout.
Yeah. What show is in Chicago?
I believe it's the one in Wheaton. I think it's the Great American Train Show, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah, Dwight's comment was he lived there in Augusta doing government work.
I see.
He liked it there. Yes, it's a pretty nice place. It's a seaport. There on the Atlantic. Pretty busy one too. Why he said the greatest American train show.
Oh, Greatest American, yeah.
Greatest American. There used to be a
Greatest American Hero?
no, there used to be an amusement park over there called like Marriott's Great American. Wonder if it's anywhere near there.
I don't remember.
It was like a small Cedar Point, you know.
Six Flags Great America.
What is
Yeah,
it?
It's the Six Flags Great America.
Oh,
it's in Gurney.
Yeah, that's just on the north side of Chicago.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay. He's saying Augusta's not on the ocean. It's an Army base in the sands south of Atlanta. Huh.
Augusta? The golf course?
No, Army base. Wrong, Augusta.
There's Fort Gordon near Augusta.
Yeah, I was in the Navy. What do I know? And I don't play golf. The Masters. That's the PGA Masters.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we're kind of winding down on the conversation, so it's getting close to midnight. Somebody want to go start an after show?
Yeah, I will.
All right, Phil. That'll be posted on the communities page if anybody wants to come join in.
Yep. I'll do that.
And what I'm going to do is, once I do the closing of the show here, whoa, is my computer acting up? God, looks like it. Yeah, Greg is, from my understanding, kind of on the busy side to White. He's still working on his house. Work keeps him busy. I think he got a promotion at work. So they kind of keep him hopping, but he has put out a couple right there towards the end of the year already.
Well, good stuff from his trip here.
Yeah.
So I know he's got a lot of video to go through.
Oh, yeah.
Probably have like 2 years worth of videos just from this trip.
Yeah. All right, so after I get through closing out the show, I'm going to leave it open, and I will present the Word document with all the links from tonight's Q&A, and I'll leave it up for long enough so that you can pause the recording and be able to copy the URLs so you can go check out those links if you would like. I want to say keep checking in on YouTubeModelBuilders.com website for all the latest news and info on presentations, the eMag, and the live show schedules. The live show is once every month. It's the third Saturday. The e-magazine is bi-monthly, and it should be coming out pretty soon. for the January to kick off 2016. Tuesday presentations now are every other week. So check the schedule, see what the show is, and be able to know that you're trying to watch it on the right week. There will be one next week. This week was an off week. And Thursday general hangouts is each week as well. There's been no change on that schedule so far. You can go to the website and sign up for the eMag, get a notification when it comes out. That is a PDF file. You can download that, be able to watch, be able to read it at your leisure. And I want to say thank you for participating in tonight's show. Chris, Eric, Dwight, Professor, I want to thank y'all in the Q&A. And I want to thank Bob, Marie, Phil, Jason, Chris, Andy, Jim, and Sherry. Can't forget the new girl. For being on the panel tonight. And I'm going to shut this presentation down and put up the uh-oh. Where did we go?
Can't shut it down?
No. Oh, there it is. Oh no, my computer's been kind of acting up a little bit tonight. So here are the links. And I'm going to leave this running just for a few seconds for everybody to be able to copy them down. Thank everyone. Good night and happy rails.